Please tell us, what should newlyweds prioritize? And when I say newlyweds, I mean those who have been married for about 1 to 5 years. What should such people prioritize?
That's a very good question. Yeah, another way to look at it is to say when someone is building, what should be the first thing that you prioritize? Because you are building a life together. It's called life partnership. You're building a new experience. You've never had this experience because there's only one of your wife, only one of you. So you are creating something unique and something beautiful. So what should you prioritize? I think one of the key things you should prioritize foundational stuff. It determines things that will determine how far you want to be married, how far you want to travel together, and those are some of the key things. So, what do I think are some of those key things? Number one is communication. You need to don't leave it to chance. Usually when people are at the beginning, there is a lot of butterfly in their tummy. They're excited. People call it the romantic phase of the relationship. All right. Now, many things you are likely going to be doing around this time will be things that are default. It's just more like, oh, I love him, I love her, I'm running home. But after a while, people just fall into their default modes. So, first thing first is to create time for talking, time for intentional talking. All right. So, don't leave it to if I feel like it, no. So, for us, for example, every morning, every evening, and during the day we text. Every morning, every evening, we actually talk. And that's our way. So, we've built a habit around it, a pattern such that it just happens naturally. So, but at the beginning, you might not do that naturally. You have to now begin to invest, purposefully schedule that time. If you don't schedule it, there's a law called Parkinson law, which says that the available space will be consumed by anything that you focus on. So, for example, if you don't create that time, work will eat it up. You won't have time for your partner. You won't have time for family. So you have to block a specific time, and talk. And if you are so far apart that you can't really block out time, schedule a time in the week to say, today, every Saturday, we're going to have conversations, no phones, no TVs, just talk through. And then from there, see how it goes. Okay. So do what works for you, but the principle remains the same. Make time, create time to talk. Okay. The other thing I'll probably say is, which is similar to communication, is invest time in, quality time. Invest time together. All right. Sometimes people talk, but sometimes they might not invest quality time. So don't just talk the surface thing. Invest time in building that connection. All right. Communication will help you, but beyond that, have time that you block out to play with your partner, to connect with your partner, to look into your partner's eyes, to find out what is happening behind the beautiful face you were saying. Find out what are their aspirations, what are their fears. Make time to build that connection, that quality time with each other. Now, why is this important? We've realized that couples who have strong connection, they are able to weather tough challenges. All right, because challenges will come. Doesn't matter whether you have a beautiful marriage, whether you married your soulmate, right? Same challenges come to every marriage, every family. So how you are able to weather this phase, very critical. Third thing I will ask couples to prioritize to do things that will strengthen trust in each other. All right. Now, why is that? Trust is one of the key pillars of a relationship. All right. You want to do things that will strengthen trust. What do I mean? Let me give an example. So, if you are traveling somewhere, even if your partner is not asking, let them know where you're going to be, what you're going to be doing, how long you're going to be there for. Be very transparent and be very open. If you're making sending probably now that you are now a couple, before you make any important life decision, bring your partner into it. Lay out your cards on the table. Be very transparent, be very open. Things like this will build trust. So don't be in that situation whereby you're married, but you are still thinking like a single person. So you are making decisions without consulting your partner. You are probably sending money to some people, or maybe to your friend or to your loved one, without getting the consent of your partner. You have to begin to change some of those habits that wasn't a problem when you were single, but now somebody else. I'll share an example. So before I got married, I was running a consulting firm. We were running training, facilitation, recruitment, setting up HR structures for small businesses. And so usually I'll just get a call, oh, Victor, this bank needs you to train, these people need you to train. I'll just travel because I was single. I was all by myself. But the moment I got married, game completely changed. So it got a time somebody called me to say, you need to travel out of the country to do XYZ. I was going to say, oh yeah, because I love such opportunities. But I just thought, you know what? I said, yeah. I said, you should please hold the slot for me. Let me quickly make a call. I went to Akunna. I called my wife. This is what is happening. This is what do you think? Are you happy for me to go? She said, of course, I'm happy for you to go. Now, that was something that was a new thing I had to learn to do. My default mode was, yes, I'll just go and just get home, carry my bag, off I go. But now that I'm now married, I had to begin to learn some of those habits to begin to, bring my wife into everything I do. It was a conscious decision. And these things will go a long way in sustaining and holding your marriage. Okay. Another thing that we did is shared goals and shared values. We had to define what is our core values. What do we mean by core values? Things that will guide your belief system, that will guide your decision making. All right. So, and then shared goals. So we have to see. I remember we sat down at one point and we were discussing what will be our household income. What are we projecting? What is it at the moment? What are we? This was at the beginning of our marriage. I mean, well, both of us were almost broke, if not broke. Yeah. So we had to make that and begin to synergize, and it's opened up a new dimension of my wife, because I was like, wow, how engaging she was, how she was contributing. I was like, wow, I'm in for a lovely ride. So very good thing to begin to have goals together, not just individual goals, but goals as a family. Goals have a way of, when you are achieving something together, it has a way of strengthening your connection, your bond. All right. Very important. So don't allow every year to be the same. Set bigger goals, for every year, to say this is what we are projecting, and both of you work together. Teamwork will just be natural, to both of you. Very important to be able to work that out. Your goals and your values, values of integrity, values of transparency. What are the key things that will guide your marriage? These are foundational things. All right. If you don't lay this foundation and make them solid, anything can come and blow away what you're building. The final thing I'd like to say is to create parameters, create what do you call it now? A structure around managing disagreements, because disagreement will definitely come if both of you are, coming from different background. Even siblings disagree, so you are definitely going to disagree. But how are you going to handle disagreement so that it doesn't escalate into conflict? If you don't create a plan and stick to this plan, you're going to fall into your default mode. So let's say your default mode is when you're angry and you disagree, you sulk and you just withdraw and you do silent treatment. You have to create a plan to say, this is not going to work in this relationship. This is what we're going to do. This is what we're going to do. If you're not happy about something I'm doing, say it to me in this way. All right. If I'm feeling pressured and we're having a discussion that I don't agree with, is it okay for me to walk out and give some time? And if I walk out, how long? How should we? What is the game? What is the rule of engagement? You have to lay this out and begin to work on that. So the benefit of this is this. Once you begin to do this, you now begin to build them into habits, because anything you repeat after 21 days, some people say 60 days, becomes your habit, and you do them repeatedly. After a while, you just have those things set in stone. All right. So, for example, you just find yourself that you just realize that you don't have a problem with unforgiveness. That any issue that come up, you have a system that just help you address the issue and resolve it and move on. Okay, if you're not intentional, a wise man once said, don't watch life drag you on, give you direction. Don't allow marriage just happen to you, give you direction. Okay, I hope though these are not exhaustive list, but these are the core things because we have limited time. Just thought to just mention these 5 things that you can begin to prioritize as a newlywed to build a formidable marriage. Your marriage is beautiful because you have the marriage of your dreams, like my wife will say. God bless you. Bye.